What if the person you ignored on the street today had the power to change your life forever? A few years ago, I was sitting on a park bench watching people rush by when a man nearby dropped his coffee. Nobody stopped. Not one person. That moment stuck with me because it made me wonder. How many incredible stories do we miss simply because we're too busy to look down? Today's story starts exactly there, on the ground level, where life is raw, uncomfortable, and honest. In this video, you're about to witness what happens when Keanu Reeves, one of the most recognizable faces on the planet, decides to erase his fame and walk through the world as someone society barely sees. No bodyguards, no cameras, no special treatment, just worn-out clothes, tired eyes, and silence. But here's the thing. You'll want to stay until the very end, because the most powerful part of this story isn't about Keanu at all. It's about a struggling mom, her young daughter, and a small act of kindness that quietly sets off a chain reaction nobody could have predicted. To make a long story short, this isn't just a social experiment. It's a mirror. Keanu Reeves has always been an unusual kind of celebrity. Not loud, not flashy, no scandals screaming from tabloids every other week. In fact, according to multiple reports from outlets like People and The Guardian, Keanu is known for riding the subway, giving up his seat, and quietly donating millions to children's hospitals without attaching his name. But what happens when even that quiet generosity isn't enough to understand how people really treat each other? That question is exactly what sparked this undercover experiment. To make a long story short, Keanu wanted to see the world the way millions of people are forced to see it every day. Invisible, dismissed, assumed to be lazy, broken, or dangerous. According to data from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, over 650,000 people experience homelessness on any given night in the United States. And studies from Harvard University show that prolonged financial stress literally changes how others perceive your worth as a human being. So Keanu did something radical. He shaved his beard unevenly, wore secondhand clothes, scuffed shoes, and carried a backpack with everything he owned. No phone, no wallet full of credit cards, just a few dollars in cash. When he stepped into a lower-income neighborhood on the edge of the city, something fascinating happened almost immediately. People stopped making eye contact, not because they were cruel, but because that's what we're taught to do. Sociologists call this social avoidance behavior. Research published in the Journal of Social Psychology shows that people are 67% less likely to acknowledge someone they perceive as homeless, even when directly spoken to. Isn't that wild? Or maybe painfully familiar? Keanu sat outside a small cafe for nearly an hour. Dozens passed by. Some glanced. Most didn't. One man muttered something under his breath. A woman pulled her purse closer. No one asked his name. Then the rain started. Rain has a funny way of revealing truth. People rush faster. Shoulders hunch. Compassion feels inconvenient. Keanu moved under a small awning near a bus stop, soaking wet, cold, and silent. And that's when he noticed them, a mother and her daughter. The mom looked exhausted. Not dramatic movie exhausted. Real exhausted. The kind that comes from working double shifts, skipping meals, and carrying the mental math of bills every second of the day. Her daughter, maybe 8 years old, clutched a worn backpack and skipped around puddles like the rain was a game. They stopped nearby. The little girl noticed Keanu first. She tugged her mom's sleeve and whispered something. The mom glanced over, hesitated, then looked away. That hesitation matters, because kindness isn't automatic. It's a decision, especially when you don't have much yourself. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly 1 in 3 single mothers in the U.S. live near or below the poverty line. Every dollar has a job. Every decision costs something. So when the mom looked into her nearly empty coffee cup, sighed, and then walked over to Keanu, it wasn't heroic. It was expensive. She asked a simple question. Do you want something warm? That was it. No speech, no pity, just warmth. Keanu nodded. Inside the cafe, she ordered 1 extra soup and a small coffee. The daughter insisted on adding a cookie. He should have something sweet, she said. Let that sink in. Studies from Yale University suggest that children display higher baseline empathy than adults, largely because they haven't yet learned who society tells them to ignore. Isn't that uncomfortable? When did we learn to stop caring? They sat together outside. Didn't ask for his story. Didn't ask what went wrong. They just talked. About school, about how rain smells different in the city, about nothing and everything. Keanu barely spoke, but he listened. And listening, as psychologists will tell you, is one of the rarest forms of generosity. At one point, the daughter asked him, "Are you lonely?" That question almost broke him, not because it hurt, but because it was honest. And here's where things get interesting, because what happens next doesn't involve money, fame, or a dramatic reveal. It involves something much quieter, something that grows slowly, something that begins to change lives long before anyone realizes it has. And right there, under a leaking awning, with rain hitting concrete, something irreversible was set in motion.